Yeah, this is a big topic that I think a lot of couples would be facing now, especially as we're coming to this awakening and we're starting to grow and evolve and grow. And this can be quite difficult for couples because from time to time, men are a little slow at this growth process.
And it seems to be that the feminine is really accelerating in growth at this time. And yeah, I think there's a lot of men that are starting to wake up as well. And are starting to question what the hell is going on with our women.
Yes. Yeah, so it can be quite difficult in the relationship when one person is growing and one is not, or one is kind of seems to be perceived not to grow when he's not doing the work, and it's usually he. We most find this men a little bit slower in personal development, in growing themselves spiritually and evolving. So we find this quite a bit with men really struggling, and women are having to kind of have this like dragging them to things or forcing them or pushing them, or there's this push energy towards women towards their man of like, come on, like do your work.
Why can't you just get it?
Well, yeah.
That's what they're saying.
Nicely put as a woman. So there's this energy and it can be quite damaging in the relationship.
Because then the woman can feel like, why doesn't he understand me? Why doesn't he get it? I just want him to see things my way and get my perspective. But I guess what we fail to see is the gift in that. As long as we are actually focused on the other person, the more that it actually stops us from our own growth. So we focus outside of ourselves, which is what we tend to do as humans. We tend to focus on the outside influences and look at outside things that we can blame things on for why we're not doing the things that we want to do, or why we're not experiencing things the way we want to experience things. We tend to give our power away to outside influences. So in this case, it would be your partner. You're so focused on them growing a certain way, and you're so attached to the idea of how it should look, that if they don't do that, then you're disappointed and you can blame them for you not stepping up.
Yeah, because we sometimes want, like, for example, we want to experience more connection or be more open or be more vulnerable. We kind of think that if our partner just did the work, then we could be more open and more vulnerable and more loving. So we're kind of waiting on the other person to kind of wake up and to kind of bring that to the relationship, but it doesn't work that way. It's like if you want to have more fun, if you want to be more free, you want to express yourself more, you really got to find ways of doing that, and then inviting your partner to join you, and they'll be more likely to join you if it's not a forceful push to like, come on, I need you to step up, I need you to have more fun, or I need you to be more loving, or why aren't you sharing yourself? Why are you closed off?
Because then it's like putting conditions on them.
Yeah.
It's putting conditions on them that you have to be a certain way in order for me to be with you.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you want to bring more fun, or if you want to have more connection, you really got to find ways and different ways, because sometimes we try it one way and just keep going that way and it doesn't work, but we still keep doing it that way. It's like when we can take, again, responsibility, it's like, how can I look at this differently? How can I approach this differently? How can I interest him or interest her, but it's coming from a different place instead of like fixing or changing.
Do you know what the key is?
What?
Here?
What's the key?
Like, the key is to let go.
Yay. Yeah.
Like, to let go of needing your partner to join you. Because there's a need for us. That's why we're chasing it all the time. That's why we're needing them to approve of what we're doing, or we're needing them to be on the same page in order for us to express all of me. So for example, we'll give you an example of our relationship. When we started, like, I started to grow very spiritually very fast. And so I'd bring these ideas and these concepts to Roman, and I would, you know, try to force, you know, force these, you know, concepts onto him, and he just wouldn't get it. And then it made me sort of go internal and go, well, you know, I can't fully express my spiritual knowledge to him because he just doesn't get it, you know. And then I used him as an excuse not to fully express myself. And it's in that communication with your partner to be able to create a safe space where you can speak about the things that you're passionate about or that you're learning, in a way that it's not forcing them, that you're wanting to. Because if you've got that energy behind, you know, when you're talking to your partner and you've got that energy behind it, that you want them to get it, or you want them to understand it, or you want them to join you, they feel it. And it becomes a manipulation.
So it's not you just sharing something, it's actually sharing in order to, like, for them to get something, or for them to see something, or to prove something to them, or kind of, it's that energy, there's something else underneath. There's, like, you sense there's something else going on. It's not just you sharing something. Yeah.
And so the gift for me was that I started to see that I wasn't fully expressing myself, and what I believed in, and that it stopped me, and I could feel that in my soul, like, I want to express but I can't, and I had blamed Roman for stopping me from actually fully expressing it. But then when I really looked in deep within to see what was actually going on, I saw that it was just a distraction. Is a distraction for me to not actually start doing the work on myself, for me to focus on my growth rather than focusing on his growth.
Yeah, and also just something that came up, just to touch up on that, and I think it's something that I was also reflecting to you, where you're not able to express it somewhere else. And actually, because in our relationship, she really wanted to express it. Hey Mom, hey Natal, nice to have you on here, guys. She wanted to express it with me. And I was mirroring something that she was not okay in expressing it out there.
Out there, yeah.
So there was a mirror that I just kind of seen, that I was reflecting that Annalie wasn't okay expressing it out there, that people won't accept it. So I was just reflecting her fear that she already had inside, about fearing that when she expressed it out into the world, she wouldn't be accepted, she wouldn't be loved, she wouldn't be taken in. And that's something I was reflecting her.
Yeah. By him not getting the concepts or getting it, that was the gift to me.
Yeah.
For me to realize that I had to be okay within myself to be able to express it, and not use other people as scapegoats as to why I can't express.
Or for validation.
Validation.
That it's right, that what I'm expressing is good, that it's valid, that it's right and you're on the right track. And we doubt ourselves and we want outside validation. And when we don't get that validation, we can get upset in how that plays out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I could actually let go of that, that's when the magic kind of happened. You know, Roman would then get it, but I had to let go first. Yeah. I had to let go of that expectation. I had to let go of, you know, what that would look like, and just be me.
Yeah, it's not easy. It is tough work, Natal.
Yes,
it
tough
can be
work.
quite difficult, because for me, when Annalie had that pressure, like I just shared from my point of view, I felt I was broken. Like there was something wrong with me, and I had my own fears that Annalie would grow spiritually and we'll have to separate because I just won't evolve quick enough. So I had my own fears and doubts and worries, and then I'd get in my own head and be like, oh my God, she's going to outgrow me, she's going to leave me, I'm not going to get it. Hey Kate.
Hi.
So I had my own fears. So in having my fears, like it stopped me from actually growing, because I was so internal and more worried, rather than being accepting and loving of where I am and what I'm experiencing, and having my own journey and being okay if Annalie grew. So I had my own kind of demons because I kind of wanted to pull her down because I've seen Annalie grow and evolve so quickly because I've been doing this work for so long, and then Annalie comes and she just like, boom, she takes off, and really that scared me. So I really had my own demons to kind of want to pull her down, to kind of like, hey, where do you think you're going? Don't grow too quickly. And it was more on a subconscious level. It wasn't like I intentionally, hey, come back here. And but it was my own fears that I had to kind of see and allow her to grow in her own way and know that we're not going to separate. It's not going to
be the end of our relationship.
Because that's what I actually thought would be. Sup, Nikki?
Hi.
So that was kind of from my point of view. And when Annalie was pushing, like, come on, you got to catch up, there was more and more of that fear. So when she could let go and I could see that she was okay with it, it allowed me to step into that space of being okay with where I am and going, hey, wait, I'm actually growing and I'm okay with where I am.
And the pace that
I'm at is my own pace, and I will get there. And as soon as I accepted where I was, I started to grow in my own way. I started to get interested in things that were interesting to me, like connecting to my heart and opening spiritually and connecting to the divine and listening to my heart and be more intuitive and understand about spirits and angels and guides and things like that. It was my own, I wanted to find out myself, but the more Annalie pushed it, the more it resisted, right? So the more we want something, the more the other person's resist.
Yeah.
So the more we can let go in the relationship. And when I could let go of Annalie growing, she started to grow even more. And then I was stepping up. So it's kind of this balance, the feminine usually leads the way in the growth, and then the masculine steps into that. But it's I think it's so important, the distinctions. It's an invitation. It's not you have to. It's like, I invite you to step into this space. Feminine energy creates this space for the masculine to step up and step into. And usually if it's an invitation, most men will step up. If women actually let go of the attachment that it has to look a certain way.
And I think just touching on your fears, I think for me, a lot of my fears were kind of the same in the sense that I knew that if I grew or I advanced like more of an understanding of the spiritual world and all that sort of stuff, was that we would have to separate. So for me, staying the same would keep me safe.
Yes. Yeah.
So so that was my sort of learning as well, that if I could stay the same, I would stay safe and I wouldn't have to step out on my own and be unsafe or my perception of unsafe.
Yes, because it's safe. Staying small is a lot easier than stepping out. Hey, Nins. So it's a lot safer for us to stay the same, and then also it's a lot easier, like I said, to go, if they were growing, we could grow together and then it'd be safe again. But it's another thing for Annalie to fully step up and own herself and be an individual and grow, and then trust that whatever needs to happen will happen. So if we did need to separate, then that's what needs to happen. It doesn't serve Annalie staying small for our relationship to work. And this is what a lot of people do, they sacrifice and stay small in order for the relationship to stay. But it's so important in a conscious relationship that your growth is number one. And when you can fully own that, your partner will either step up when you let go of pressure, when you just concentrate on yourself. Doesn't matter what your partners do, you love them unconditionally and support them in their growth, whatever way because they're growing in their own way. We just don't see it because most people perceive how it needs to happen, how it needs to grow,
or how it should look.
But your partner is growing in their own way, and your partner is giving you lessons in them not growing also.
Yes.
So what are they teaching you by not growing? What are you not seeing because you're seeing the one side of the coin, right? What are you not seeing that they're giving you in that moment? What do you have to be? What do you have to learn? Do you have to be more patient? Do you have to experience more love? Do you have to be more connected? What do you have to bring more of into the relationship by them not growing? Because there's always a gift in that. And if we see that gift and go, holy shit, like, wow, I need to learn patience.
Yeah.
And that might be a lesson that you're not patient everywhere. You might be like rushing everywhere and wanting things to happen. So your partner is reflecting that, where you need to have more patience. So it's like if you learn that lesson and be more patient and actually integrate that, your partner will change. Or they won't. But it won't bother you anymore because the lesson is you being patient or being more loving. And then that won't trigger you anymore because we get triggered. We have these buttons that our partner triggers us by not being a certain way. So, and growth is a big one, I think, for a lot of couples. And it goes both ways. We've got a client as well, also, struggling because she doesn't seem like she's growing and she's not evolving and stuff like that, and it's difficult for him. So it goes both ways, but most of the time it's men are usually the slower ones.
In our case, anyway.
Yeah,
No. Yeah, and I think the thing also to get is that, when we step more into our soul and what it's calling to do, because sometimes, when we do what you were sort of saying before is when we stay small, there's a longing that your soul wants to follow. Like, there's a calling, there's something that you really want to do, but you sacrifice from doing it because you stay small to stay safe in the relationship. And when you can step more fully into who you are as a soul, your frequency and your vibration raises. And that's like an energetic sort of, an energetic activation for your partner to either step up to the same vibration or fall away.
Yeah.
But it's all for your highest good.
Yeah. Because that's what, like I said, conscious relationships are. It's all about for your growth. Because we can be so attached to being together. This is the relationship that we need to be together. But if you're not evolving and growing in that relationship is not serving you just because it's comfortable, it's safe, and it's like, this is, it's fluffy. Relationships aren't designed to be fluffy. Sometimes we need to do what's uncomfortable, what's going to stretch. And sometimes, maybe, sometimes it is the point of leaving where the biggest growth is going to happen because you have to learn something and so does the other person. But by you staying together, it doesn't give you growth. It's comfortable, it's nice, and you become kind of cohabiting in the relationship. And sometimes there's work to be done where you can, in that relationship, where you can have more juice, you can grow, but it takes work. But by you not stepping up, it just stays the same. Nothing changes. There's no movement, there's no energy flowing, there's no push and pull, there's no magnetism, there's no polarity. It's just kind of stagnant, and that's what can happen in a relationship when we make the relationship more important than our individual growth.
Yeah. Because
that's number one. Your number one is your own growth, no matter what the other person is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Definitely. And I guess at this point in time, we're actually going through that growth at the moment.
Definitely.
So, as some of you know, we came into this business being Roman and Annalie. And we're still Roman and Annalie, but we've both come to realise that by staying together and tackling our business in this way, as a duo, that we are just staying safe. And in order for us to grow, we both need to step outside of that comfort zone. And we both know that we are going to have the most growth individually and be able to strengthen our bond together where we can both support each other in what we're doing because both of us have a calling to work, with our respective clients. Like I really am passionate about working with women and empowering them to find self-love for themselves so they can experience a relationship with their one. And do you want to speak about what you're passionate about?
Yeah, and it's similar, working with men, because I really see the potential for men, especially young men, starting to wake up and, like we said, the challenges that they face, and to actually have a partner that's conscious. Because some men are starting to wake up and they're over the club scenes and they're over the drinking and over the partying and doing all that, but they don't have tools or techniques or ways into how to wake up and how to network and how to be in this community. So really supporting men in coming into true alignment and to live more from the heart and experience life and really connect to their power and being able to connect to their strength in whatever way that looks, because we've been so conditioned of what a man should look like, and it's really, I want to support men in breaking those conditions of what it is to be a man. So it's like both enjoying stepping up, because there's a fear in that, right? It's a lot easier to do this together. So as I grow as a man and step into that power, I will grow that in the relationship. I can be more of a man and I can step into that. And same with Annalie, the more she can own her feminine side and work with women and bring that out and be uncomfortable, that's going to bring into the relationship. So that growth in itself is going to grow us so much stronger as a couple. So when we do work, because we still want to do work as a couple, but it's going to strengthen everything as we go individually and then come together. And that's the power of this work. When Annalie can work on what she needs to work and I'll work on what I need to work, and then we work on what we both need to work in the relationship, it's like this massive threesome. Well, did you really just say that? I did. But it's so powerful, right? And then you can just grow and bond and then
our souls are then, like we're not in this wanting to be somewhere else.
Yeah.
We're fully aligning to our purpose and what we're here to do, because we see the benefits of the work that needs to be done before you get into, not before, but, in order to navigate through a conscious relationship, if that's what you're wanting.
Yeah.
Because I know that Roman and I, if we both hadn't done the work, this relationship, I don't think could have worked.
No, definitely
not. It would have been very, very difficult, because there were so many things that were triggered and, things that we needed to heal and look at deeply and take responsibility. And in this relationship, I mean, we're not fighting with each other, we're fighting ourselves.
It's always the way.
And that's the thing, like in this modern day relationship, you've got someone to blame for why things don't work or why you're experiencing unhappiness or that kind of thing. And it's like really getting to the root of the issues of, why your relationships aren't working. And the biggest person that is standing in the way from you experiencing love is yourself.
Yeah.
So this work is so important. That's why we're so passionate about, getting out there and, working with women and then working with men. And then, when they come together, being able to help people navigate through the tricky...
Yeah. Through like the actual relationship.
The relationship, because that's tricky.
Yeah, it's tricky getting the partner, and then it's like even trickier being in the relationship. So the people that are listening and are in a relationship, you know how difficult it is. Stuff gets triggered. Things come up. And it's like the power with dealing that consciously and powerfully. And I don't think there's much work out there that actually teaches this stuff. Like,
we're not taught it at school.
We're not taught. Like, we had a client and he's just like, why isn't this taught at schools? Like, why, like, relationships are like number one. Like, we're constantly in relationships and we're not taught how to communicate. We're not taught what it is to be in a relationship, how to be in a relationship. Like, none of it's taught. No wonder there's such high divorce rates and people are struggling and all that sort of stuff, especially in the new age where it's like you can just change partners, you can change this, you don't have to deal with anything.
You can swipe, what is it?
Swipe left or swipe right?
I don't know. I've never been on it, so I don't know.
I think it's left.
Do you know?
I think I've still got mine. So I think it's so important, and that's why we still do have a 12-week program for couples that are in relationship and know there's more. So if you are curious, like, just comment or get in touch with us if you want to know about the 12-week program, because we go so much deeper into what it is actually to be in a relationship. There's like the aspects of what a relationship is and the relationship dynamics and creating sacred agreements and how to communicate, how to share yourself fully So that's not something we know, how to communicate and share our deepest fears and deepest rejections and what we're truly afraid of in a way that the other person, your partner, can hear you and take it and love it, and you can open even more. Like, we're so afraid to share our fears and what we're most scared of because we think that will disconnect us. But what we don't see is when we share our deepest fear, when we share what we're most afraid of in a way that it lands, it brings intimacy, it brings connection. And this is what's so important that most people don't teach in, relationships, and this is what we don't see. It's like, just hide and just show your good side of things. But those dark things, those shadows, those things that you think you could never share, if you actually share it in a way, and you have to know how to do it, right? Because this is not what we're taught. We either just go, bleh, we just vomit, or we don't say anything. But when you can share it in a way that comes from the heart, and it's intelligent communication. And this is what we teach in our 12-week program, is like how to have this heart intelligent communication. So if you're interested, just comment below, I'm in, or just inbox us, get in touch with us. We can set up a call of explaining what the actual program is, how it works, and what's involved. And because we're really passionate and see the importance of coaching couples, because
they're, you are going to be guiding the new generation. And I feel like if we actually learnt how to do this, none of us would be going through the things that we've been going through. And if we can help the next generation in being able to communicate from the heart, I really see how important it is, because there's wars and things like that are created from the mind, from the ego. And when we can get in tune and in touch with our heart, it's very powerful, very powerful. And it can connect people on another level. And this is, everyone has the capacity to do this. You have just forgotten. You just forgotten. And
beautiful.
I think we went on a really different tangent, and I guess we're trusting that that's what needed to be shared. And was there anything else that you wanted to talk about with growth?
No, I think we've covered everything. Yeah, I think that's good.
So if you've got any questions about this topic or any other topic that we've covered, let us know, and we'll see you all guys next week. We'll post when we're going to be on next week. And the next week's topic is stresses of life.
Ooh, and it's kind of going to tie everything together. Everything that we covered and how that impacts our relationships. So hope you can join us next week. Thank you very much, guys, and take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.